Let's be honest, Phase 3 cannot afford to repeat the same mistakes. Some systems just need to work as intended, others require fixes to make the gameplay less frustrating and more enjoyable, and certain issues simply cannot be ignored anymore. I'm Flanker, and here is what I believe should be addressed before Phase 3 begins. If you think I missed anything, feel free to drop it in the comments. In Phase 2, enchanting was a major element of gear progression. The stat bonuses it provided were too impactful to ignore, making raw gear crafting alone insufficient. And while that was obviously unbalanced, there was also an upside. It extended progression and kept players engaged. But here's where it gets more interesting. Enchanting required gold, lots of it. That meant players were actively farming glint, running caravans, buying their components from crafters, all fueling a gameplay loop that involved PvE, meaningful PvP, and economic activity. Additionally, enchanting with all its cost functioned as a much-needed gold sink, helping stabilize the in-game economy. Then came Phase 2.5 and enchanting got nerfed hard, which, to be fair, was expected. However, what wasn't expected is how irrelevant the system became almost overnight. And here's why. The stat bonuses from enchanting were significantly reduced while the costs skyrocketed. Enchanting scrolls could no longer be bought from vendors, which is good, but crafting them now required more resources and a massive amount of node currency for enchanting essences, which were absurdly overpriced. On top of that, add diminishing returns and you've got a system where the gain is absolutely not worth the effort. As a result, a core part of gear progression effectively disappeared, which is obviously a problem. So something needs to change. Either the impact of enchanting needs to go a little bit up, or its cost needs to be reduced. Because right now, the effort is not justified, and that kills the system entirely. Phase 2.5 made one thing painfully clear. The problem of cheaters and RMT is not just a hypothetical threat. It is very real, and when it goes unchecked, the impact becomes visible fast. Sure, we all knew it would be an issue eventually, but seeing it play out in real time is a different story. That's exactly why this can't be allowed to repeat itself in Phase 3. It's one of those things that can quickly turn off both active testers and new players trying the game for the first time. Now, obviously, you're never going to eliminate cheating and RMT completely, but with the right approach, it can be reduced significantly. From everything I've seen so far, there are two major areas that Intrepid really needs to take seriously moving forward. First, let's talk about the reporting system. Right now, you need to go to the website, fill out a form, upload your evidence, and then wait. Eventually, support gets back to you with a generic message. We'll take action, but we will not disclose the outcome. To begin with, not everyone is going to go through that whole process every time. Also, some players don't use instant replay or metal and can't make a recording. And even if they do, they're still left wondering whether it made any difference. Did the report help? Was the evidence good enough? Should I have sent something else? There is literally zero feedback. Let me give you a real example. I once submitted a report with a video of a speed hacker in action. A few days later, the exact same guy was spotted speed hacking on Dusty's stream like nothing ever happened. I thought he was banned, but turns out he wasn't. And that leads straight to the second issue, which is response time. See, it's not just about banning a cheater eventually, it's about banning them fast. Every extra day they stay in the game means more gold pumped into the economy and more long-term damage done. And remember, it's $100 buy-in for a new account, which means these people are going to keep doing it as long as it's profitable. That's why speed matters a lot. Every delay works in their favor. Honestly, the only thing that comes to mind is having an active GM, someone you can DM in-game or in Discord when it comes to such cases. GMs could teleport to a reported player while staying invisible, observe the situation firsthand, and take immediate action if needed. Another thing that I would like to mention is communication. Intrepid stated that they will not publicly share names of banned players. That's understandable, but there is a middle ground here. Posting weekly or monthly ban stats, even just in the official Discord, would take minutes, but it would go a long way in showing the community that something is actually being done. Communication and transparency are critical here. It's not just about doing the right thing, it's also about making sure your players know that it's being done. And once again, let's be crystal clear. There should be zero tolerance for exploiters and RMTers. That includes not only those who sell gold, but also those who buy it. It is something Intrepid already promised to crack down on before Alpha 2 even started, and I think most of the community would love to see the results, even just in the form of ban wave reports or updates.
There is a sanctity that must be protected within the game from RMTing. In games that I've played where the company or the publisher does not enforce rules, it becomes the standard that you buy gold. If you want to be competitive, if you want to compete at the top tier levels in certain games and everyone's buying gold, you are almost either have to buy the gold or you're just not going to be able to compete with those people. And that's a really shitty feeling to have, excuse my French. In order for that not to be the case, it is the responsibility of the publisher or the developers to make sure that we have stringent practices from a CS from a customer service perspective to enforce our rules and to make sure that players are aware if they partake in this, there is a huge risk in doing so. It's not going to be a slap on the hand. It's not going to be a, we told you once, we told you twice, we told you 3, 4, 5, 6 times. Okay, we're just taking some gold away, that kind of thing. We have got to ensure that it is feared to do those things. From an enforcement, from a policy perspective, we need to be Johnny on the spot when it comes to botting or RMTing, because the sanctity of player achievement within the game, when valuing risk versus reward, those things have to accompany it or else it's meaningless. It's partly the reason why Intrepid even exists. Intrepid was born out of a hatred for that type of interaction between publisher and the developer and the gamers.
In conclusion to this chapter, we have all seen what happened with the economy back in May. The upcoming Phase 3 is expected to be the final and the longest phase of Alpha 2. Letting that kind of chaos unfold again would be a disaster. There is too much at stake at the moment. Lessons need to be learned and, more importantly, acted on. A few weeks ago, I was planning to make a video entirely focused on guild progression. I had notes, examples, suggestions, the whole thing was pretty much ready to go. But then Intrepid announced their upcoming dev livestream. Since they said it would cover changes to the guild system, I decided to wait and hear what they had to say first. To be honest, I'm glad I did, because about 80% of what I wanted to bring up in that video ended up being addressed. Reworking the guild skill tree, adjusting the XP curve, adding guild storage, and expanding ways to earn guild XP, it was actually refreshing to hear my own concerns echoed back from the developers. That said, there are a couple of things I'd like to add on top of what's already been announced. First of all, guild storage is great, but how about also giving us a guild treasury? If your guild runs internal taxes, or if members want to pitch in for things like war declaration scrolls, managing that manually is no fun. Trading 50 people and keeping track of who paid what, that obviously doesn't sound exciting. A guild treasury with transaction logs would be a simple but very welcome quality of life improvement. The second thing is a guild leaderboard that tracks how much guild XP each member has contributed. Not only would this let officers see who's doing the work and who's not, but it would also remove the need to track that kind of stuff manually. Also, in some guilds, it could even add a fun competitive element. Some players will absolutely grind just to see their name at the top of that list, and that's not a bad thing. All in all, guild progression, if it's well designed and balanced, could become one more meaningful in-game activity. And in a sandbox MMO, there is no such thing as too many gameplay loops. Give people more ways to engage, to contribute, and to feel that they matter, and they will stick around. If this video was interesting, I'd appreciate if you leave a like and subscribe to the channel. I am Flanker, and I'll see you soon.